what are the views of the New Patriotic Party on some of these issues, and exactly what do we want to say to you out there who is a very firm supporter of our party? My name is Nana Kofi Opondam. I'll take a very short break now. When I come back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll start the discussion. Welcome back to Minority Caucus. Today with me, I have a very august panel. Honorable Dr. Sagre Bambagi, MP for Walla Walla, is to my extreme left. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And then I have Kalistu Agbam, a development policy analyst. My brother, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Another young man from the NPP once again, and so this tells you and confirms the fact that I have always made it a point to remind you of that the NPP believes in the youth. We look for competence, and that is what is key. So far as you're young, you've prepared yourself well enough. The NPP does have a place for you. Today, we're dealing with profligate government expenditure. That word, profligate, was introduced by His Excellency, the late President John Evans Atta Mills, in describing the NPP's expenditures over the years. Today, I wish I could hear him speak on the expenditures of his government. God rest his soul. But before we go there, the Kenyan election and the issues therewith. It would interest you to know that the Kenyan Supreme Court has actually started sitting on the substantive matter that has been put before it. This is interesting because we had our elections, the NPP filed a petition, and then the president was sworn in all before the Kenyan election was ever held. But now they have managed to go beyond us and have started the case. The court has ruled in a pretrial motion that 22 counties should be recounted again. Also, they've asked that in certain counties where the ballot papers were burnt, there should be retallying. What you need to bear in mind in all of this is that the elected president, Uhuru Kenyatta, needs to lose just about 9,000 votes for the entire election to be invalidated, for a rerun to be conducted. We watched the proceedings today, and those of you that are privileged enough to, have access to that, I encourage you to watch that. The proceedings will educate us all a lot. Number 2, Justice Bega. He says that he's promising Ghanaians a trailer in Manila. I think that he's been extremely sensationalist. We should just ignore him. He's just a bored old man who perhaps is looking for much attention. Because if not, what will make a man his age seek to, project himself as a boxer in the boxing ring with who? Akufo-Addo? Sorry, Justice, he's not interested. Now, getting back to the issues at hand, profligate government expenditure. Honorable Dr. Sagre Bangbani, first of all, how's Walla Walla?
Walla Walla is fine, except that we are still mourning. Because on the 18th of March, Monday evening, a serious disaster hit Walla Walla. At the peak of the market, it was a market day. A rainstorm hit the town, and a huge mahogany tree crashed on, a shop where a lot of people were taking shelter, killing 4 people on the spot and injuring over 40 people.
Wow.
A lot of roofs have been ripped off, and classrooms, about 5 classroom blocks have also been ripped off, and the children don't have places to sit. Up to now,
how come this
we do not have any significant support from NADMO. So far, I have heard of only 40 bags of rice and 40 bags of maize to the people of Walla Walla, the disaster victims who are looking for shelter. In our tradition, you have to have a place to lay your head before you think of what to eat. And we don't have that for now. So we are still crying out to the public, and we are mourning as well. Wow. All the dead have been buried. I rushed to the constituency to see how they are doing, but we are still mourning, so I'm in a mourning mood.
Wow. Honorable, our condolences.
Thank you.
Our condolences. But I'm surprised that this is not making the news at all.
Well, sometimes they say it is the owner who eats and not the hungry man. So maybe that's the reason. Otherwise, we have tried, we have done our best for it to get to the news. I think the Ghanaian Times of today published the story through my efforts as a member of parliament. I have tried to make a statement, but because of the rush to pass all these bills in parliament, the appropriation bills and, all that. I have not been able to get the opportunity. As at now, my statement is still with the leadership, but I have not been able to get the opportunity.
Okay.
So at the right time, maybe we'll let the people hear us. All the reports have gone to the relevant authorities.
Okay.
But we are still waiting for the aid.
May God help us in these matters. It touches my heart when I hear such stories. But Honorable, again, as a member of Parliament in such very trying times, how do you feel? You're a new MP.
Yes, I really feel saddened because I wish I could help. But as you know, the government is, I don't know, they said the economy is, to the bone,
Yeah, no meat.
No meat. So if you go to the district assembly, they are helpless. I even asked the district chief executive whether we could not, get a supplier to supply, the disaster victims some roofing materials on credit. And when he described the state of finances of the assembly to me, I was saddened. And everybody knows. That is why, teachers have to go on strike for the attention to be given to them. That is why doctors are currently, sending signals that they might go on strike. So, maybe we ate too much of our cake in 2012. So this year, we may have to tighten our belts if we will have to continue with the NDC government.
Okay. All right. Again, I'll say that anybody out there who'd want to be of help, I think that you may want to contact Honorable Dr. Sagri Bambagi, and then please donate whatever little that you may have so that we may be able to help our brothers in Walla Walla. Callistus, when you hear such stories, how does it go?
Nana, it's very saddening considering the fact that I, for instance, was born in Walla Walla. I know the economic circumstances of people there. It's not very easy for people down there. I mean, these are people who are mostly farmers and petty traders. And so to have been hit by such a calamity and very little support or nothing being done to help alleviate their plight, I find that as very unfortunate. I am personally very saddened that, just like Honorable said, the District Assembly is claiming helplessness in this kind of situation. We have NADMO, which is situated at the district level. We have a district NADMO office, the regional NADMO office, the national NADMO office. And we even have SADA, which has as a key objective mitigating issues of risks and disasters, also in place there. So why can't we do something for these people?
Okay, I just forgot one thing. Honorable, apart from the maize and rice, no other food items has been given to the people?
That is, to the best of my knowledge, it is only
no guinea fowls?
Maize and rice. I'm not even sure whether they have been distributed. I don't know, because the quantity, 40 bags of maize and 40 bags of rice, appear too little. But
that is
at
really
least,
insignificant.
At least, but that's their widow's mite. That's the widow's mite of the NADMO, you see.
No guinea fowls yet?
No guinea fowls yet. Okay. No guinea fowls. We really need roofing sheets, roofing materials.
Okay.
If we can get roofing sheets and wood for roofing and nails and some little assistance for the people to organize their shelter and continue with normal life.
Okay, now I want us to delve straight into the topic of profligate government expenditure. You are here just talking about the fact that there's not enough for us to address national disaster issues. But so how do you feel when, I think yesterday it was told before parliamentarians that the Ministry of Youth and Sport had overspent by 193 million? How do you feel?
Well, I feel bad because it looks like we are a nation that is failing to prioritize. We are a nation that is failing to plan. And if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That is exactly what is happening to us. When we get to SADA, I will tell you my bit about where the whole problem started. You see, if you don't conceptualize, a development issue, but you pick it from somewhere and you rush over it, sometimes that is what happens. So let's go and look at where we tumbled. You see, let's go back and look at where we tumbled and not necessarily where we are falling.
Okay. Now, I want you to address that particular matter again. You're talking about the fact that where we tumbled. Exactly where did we tumble in this SADA
We
concept?
tumbled because this was a very brilliant idea, brought up by the MPP in 2008, Northern Development Fund. Northern Development Fund. Then, here, comes the NDC. Then they ran with the baton. I think they stole the baton and ran with it. Say, oh, we are going to make it Savannah Accelerated Development Authority. We are going to make it an authority, which is higher than just the mere fund. You see, I am a member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Food, Agriculture, and Cocoa Affairs. So, the budget for an organization like SADA would have come under our committee if it were, a fund, for instance. It would have been under, administered by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, or some other ministry, some other appropriate ministry could have, been administering it. But now it is in like the office of the president. And so much attention is supposed to be given to it. That's fine. But then, the way they have done it, when they are going to do some strategic investments, they may not have the necessary, technical expertise. And so if they don't have that, and if they don't look for it, then they will tumble.
Okay.
So I am saying that this whole problem starts from the way they took the idea and they didn't take their time to assess it, and they ran with it.
Okay. So it's basically thefts that has caused us to be where we are.
That is the problem.
Callistus, you agree with that?
No, to a large extent, I would agree with Honorable on the fact that, yes, this was a very brilliant idea that was conceived under the NPP government in 2008. I remember in November 2008, the bill was duly passed for the Northern Development Fund to be established so that we could look into issues of socio-economic development of the people of Northern Ghana. And here comes a government that took the idea and decided to enlarge the geographical parameters of the fund to include parts of BA and parts of Volta region, and now to call it SADA. That's like dressing an old monkey and calling it a gorilla, but all the same, and they still belong to the same family, the same species. So what I would say is that, yes, SADA, the idea was very good. The idea behind the formation of the Northern Development Fund, which metamorphosized into SADA, was good and perfect. It had very key developmental focuses, looking at issues of helping agribusiness, ecotourism, risk mitigation, especially in regards to disasters, and issues of poverty alleviation and livelihood improvement, food security. These are all key development issues that, of course, the Northern Development Fund was tailored at looking at. And SADA have taken it, conceptualized it, but like he said, if you have stolen an idea and you don't have the expertise to work with it well, you tailor it to a direction that surely has no end. Today, we look back at SADA and the ridiculous expenditures that the Secretariat is putting forth for 2012, and I ask myself, do we actually have a priority in terms of development for Northern Ghana? Do we actually have the people at heart? I mean, do we actually, those we call poor, and those in almost all proposals, I mean, we say 8 out of people in the Upper East are poor, 9 out of people, 10 people in the Upper West are poor, 7 out of 10 people in the North. We keep saying poverty, poverty, poverty in Northern Ghana. Are we really concerned about alleviating the plight of people up north? If we are, then we would look at SADA in a much more realistic manner. We'll be very, very, innovative, and we'll learn to prioritize when it comes to issues of socio-economic development.
Okay.
I am very, very saddened, my brother, at what I am hearing and reading. I mean, the very little the development policy I have done tells me that if this is the focus of government's attention on SADA, the end cannot be something we'll be very happy about. SADA has prospects, all right, but with where we're going, I think we would have to be very cautious. All right.
Now, we both, all of us around this table agree that there's a problem with SADA. I think that's the general consensus here. Now that you've addressed them in a variety of ways, Honorable, you think that it is because the idea was stolen and not properly conceptualized. You're also saying that you think it's a wrong focus. So that's okay. But when you say it's the wrong focus, exactly what do you mean, Callistus?
My brother, first of all, let's get back to the issues that have been in the media this week. Talk about SADA Of course, SADA has a vision of a very green north, that I must admit, which is very good.
Greening the north, yes.
Greening the north. Yet you have an amount of almost close to 60 million cedis spent on reforestation. The issue is not that reforestation is a bad concept, no. But the approach to doing it as it has been done, for me, is very uninnovative and very obsolete.
5 million trees?
I'm telling you, 5 million trees, they should go show us the trees. Where are the trees? What is the current state of the trees? My brother, go to the Upper West region. Recently, I was there. There was this site at Berrywong, and you'll be surprised at what we call it a reforestation project. You plant trees and leave them to their own fate, and you say you are reforestating? What are we talking about? And the funny thing is that what is even the value of these trees that SADA is planting? Do they have any economic value to the people of northern Ghana? In some places, my brother, they are cutting down shea trees, shea butter trees, trees that have huge economic benefits to the people of northern Ghana. They are cutting them down and planting trees whose economic value, myself and you cannot tell. So, what are we doing? Are we thinking of mitigating climate change impacts with just trees without looking at the long-term impacts? Put that even aside. It's a fact that most people in northern Ghana depend on firewood or charcoal for cooking. That's the main source of fuel. And you would expect that with issues of reforestation, SADA would have thought it prudent to first of all start by embarking on an educational campaign. Let's educate people on the need to even have these trees. They need to plant these trees. Let them see the importance of having these trees before we go ahead to plant them.
Okay.
Now you have gone ahead to plant trees. Currently, as we speak, prices of gasoline is very, very high. People are unable to even afford gas. You're planting trees and hoping those trees will survive for climate change adaptation. What are we talking about?
Okay. I want to go to Honorable.
As a nation.
At this stage, Honorable, you're an MP from the north. You know the area very well. You understand these things. You think that the guinea fowl project and the afforestation projects are misplaced?
Well, I wouldn't say they are misplaced, because if you look at the analysis that my younger brother has just done, you realize that forestry is very crucial for northern Ghana. We've just suffered from a disaster. Yeah. It might have emanated from the degradation that has already taking place so far. So we need it crucially. But everything has to do with the methodology, the approach. Okay. It is the approach that we think is not appropriate, but it's well in place. If we can tailor our resources well and make sure that we really have the right trees, we really have people in the right frame to go along with the afforestation program. And then we make sure that we make judicious use of the little resources that we have. Then it is not misplaced. But the problem is the approach.
Okay.
Yes.
Honorable, talking about judicious use of resources, 33 million for afforestation, when now there's nothing for the people of Walla Walla. Is that judicious use?
It isn't. We have to balance our equation. We are not balancing our equation. We are not disaster prepared. You see, when are those trees going to grow up to protect us to the extent that when there is a storm, we will not suffer any, consequences? When are they growing up? So we have to balance the system such that there is something for the NADMO to run to our rescue when there is such a mishap. But all these things have happened, and NADMO looks on helplessly. They have only been able to provide some few grains for the people. The people need shelter now. So it isn't that they are misplaced. Back to the guinea fowl project. Guinea fowl, you all know that guinea fowl is a delicacy. The best you can do to a friend in northern Ghana is to, offer a guinea fowl for a very good meal to be prepared for him. You see, so guinea fowl project is very well in place. But my problem again is the approach, because what I hear about is a PPPP,
PPP, public-private
partnership. You see, when was this thing conceptualized? How were we informed? Did the people participate in the whole program? Are the people aware? Do the people own it? These are some of the ingredients of PPP. The people must own the project. Let the people be aware. At this stage, I am a member of Parliament. I wasn't at the time, but at least I'm an academic. I was teaching in the university. If I am not aware, I believe about 90% of Northern Ghanaians will not be aware of this Guinea fowl project. You see, how did we do the feasibility studies? How did we do the education? How did we do the animation? You see, all these things have not been well done. And before we realize, we hear about this amount. You see? And
you think the money is too much?
Well, to me as a poor man, or let's say as somebody from a poor background, my background, my family background, my community background, my constituency background is generally a poor, area. So if you take all these things into consideration and you hear of 15 million Ghana cedis, 150 billion old cedis, you will be shaken. You'll be shaken. So unless we have information as to what it entails, and then we see the, evidence, the outcomes, we are not going to be able to reckon with the government on this issue.
Okay. We're not going to be able to reckon with the government on this issue, and I don't think that Honorable is the first person to have said this. The Speaker of Parliament himself, considering the issue of the overspending on the Ministry of Youth and Sports, said this: corruption really is corruption. I'll take a break and come back to continue the discussion. Welcome back to the studios. Off air, we're having some very, very interesting analysis. So I want Callistus to repeat that for us.
Thank you very much, my brother. I was just making a quick reference to the project by the Food and Agriculture Organization that they gave us a grant of $350,000 US.
And by us, you mean Ghana?
As Ghana. There's a Guinea fowl enhancement project that is also happening in Northern Ghana. Now, looking at the amount involved in this, $350 million dollars,
which is 700 cedis.
Almost less than 1 million, I can say. But the target there is 1,650 farmers drawn from 22 communities in the 3 northern regions. I mean, if you look at the replica effect of this, it's wide and far-reaching. You compare this to a government, a SADA venture, which is investing 15 million Ghana cedis into one person's business. What is the logic behind it? Under non-competitive basis, because we never saw this project advertised. I mean, you're looking at what replica effects this will have. How many people are going to benefit? Yes, you are saying you are going to employ 50,000 people and all that, but currently, as it stands, you're building the capacity of only one cottage industry in one location with 15 million Ghana cedis. My brother, if you're talking about over expenditure and unnecessary government expenditure, I think we should learn to prioritize. For me, if a donor organization has seen the light and has shown us the way by investing just a little over $1 million and has
under
targeted under $1 million, has targeted 1,650 farmers in Northern Ghana, 2 out of 3 northern regions. Why then would it make sense for us to dole out 15 million Ghana cedis to one individual? The question, I think there are lots of questions on this issue that are yet to be answered.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, but I want to move on to Honorable. Honorable, you have been in Parliament. You have seen the extent of, government expenditure or over expenditure in the year 2012 over the last few months. Now, with all of this coming together, I want you to give us a clear-cut picture from Parliament on all of these matters, considering what he has just said.
Well, I think generally Parliament is not happy with this. I know that even our friends on the other side, that is the majority, deep down their hearts will not be happy with this kind of expenditure, except that,
politics as usual.
Politics as usual. They may not, come out and say it. But I don't think we are happy with it because it makes Parliament look it takes out the powers of Parliament. Because we approve, a certain amount of money for you to spend, and then you go and overspend. And sometimes you overspend by more than 100%. That is unacceptable. Then it means you shouldn't have even come to us. Because if you come and we approve for you and you go, you even have the right to come back in the middle of the year and ask for a supplementary budget.
Which they did last year.
Which they did. And upon all that, they overspent. And if the over expenditure was even related to only issues of elections like the Electoral Commission, then we would understand. But if it doesn't, and it goes to sports, it goes to, office of government machinery, it goes to, for NADMO, we can say, because NADMO is a disaster organization.
300 million?
Well, I'm just saying that it's a disaster organization. So then they should be able to get money quickly from our Walla Walla people. Because if they could overspend this way, then they should be able to get money from our Walla Walla people. So we are not happy with this expenditure. It is really unfortunate, and it downgrades the governance of this country.
Okay, I just want to show you a fact. I'm privy to a letter that was written by the J.K. Bebaku-Mensah, Secretary to the late President, dated the 29th of February 2012. Now I'll tell you what, that letter was directing ministers of state that they should not commit funds to projects that were not in the 2012 budget. Interestingly, guess what the reference number of that letter ended in? 419. I repeat that. That letter that instructed ministers of state not to overspend, the reference letter of, this reference of that letter ended in the digits 419. Check from anybody, and the date is 29th of February 2012. At this juncture, I think that you would want to join the discussion. And so I'll open the phone lines, and then you can join by calling 030-2211-701324. I'll repeat the phone lines again, 030-2211-701324. Now, back to you, Honorable. You didn't finish.
Yes, so I say, Parliament is not happy with this expenditure, and we think that, Ghanaians must be awake, Ghanaians must help, especially the opposition in Parliament, to put the government on their toes, to exercise our oversight responsibility over the executive so that they do not misappropriate the funds, the scarce resources of this country. That is what I think we should do. So, because this cannot just be a mere coincidence. Why is it that, in the course of the year, Ministry of Agri, for instance, the extension officers of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, for a major part of the year, 2012, did not have access to resources to do extension work.
Okay.
Yes. So, and all of a sudden in the last quarter, then all these department MDAs are overspending. What kind of coincidence is this? It means that it was deliberate coincidence.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And so at this juncture, I'll take another break. And when we come back, I have a very, very interesting surprise for you. That gentleman, that young MP who has been all over the place exposing some of these matters that has caused the entire nation to blow up in outrage, has finally joined us in the studio. And so once again, I'll take another break. And when we come back, we'll discuss the matters from his viewpoint. Welcome back. We've finally been joined by Honorable Alex Marking, MP for Futu. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's been nice to meet you finally.
Nice meeting you too.
So I just want us to pick 2 calls, and then when we finish, we'll come back into the studios to complete our discussions. But Honorable Alex Marking, how did this whole thing start?
Well, the SADA?
Yes, the SADA issue and then the guinea fowl.
Well,
you should be called Mr. Guinea Fowl.
Well, I believe that as part of our work as parliamentarians, I had the opportunity to contribute to the debate when it came to Office of Government Machinery. And I had a cause of concern to raise issues on this.
So if you just hold on for me. Awal from Bolga, how are you doing, my brother? Hello, Awal.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chief. Let's make it brief.
Thank you. I listen to you. Good evening, your panel.
They thank you too.
Mr. Damwa,
Yes, sir.
about the issue about the guinea fowl issue. In fact, it is some vulgar to see that building. The President John Mahama is investing about 150 billion to it. In fact, we're very, very sorry for this NDC government. Yeah, come to see it. Only 380 something Jennifer did inside. Only 8. But I'm very, very disappointed about yesterday, the multimedia joint reporter. But the multimedia joint reporter didn't test true. Because according to him, it's about 700 Jennifer, but it's not true. It's not reached 400, 380 something. It's not reached 300, 400 Jennifer. The reported 8 is 20. It's 8. The man is disappointed because the guy says the money is appointee for and is something like that.
Thank you very much. I will take Kamal from Bolga. Kamal, how are you doing?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, Chief.
Yeah, this is Green Kamal on the line.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're my last caller.
And good evening to your panelists in the studio there. You see, we the people of our West, we are proud for seeing our MP on telly today because right from independence, we never had an MP who was ever on the social media day in, day out. And we are proud of him, Dr. the brilliant economist in there. We are happy of that. Then besides that, let's come to the issue of this SADA. Let's talk about SADA, the better. When you go there, obviously as a Starbucks, whatever I told you, I'm calling it. When you get there, you realize that even there was no even 20% in there to take this proper. Then besides that too, you talk about the hatchery machine, the incubator, absolutely nothing. What they're talking about the guinea fowls, the guinea fowls are always hundreds of them and nothing else.
Okay.
Now,
thank you very much, Kamal. But Kamal, can you do me a favor, and as well as my brothers and sisters up north? I would love for anybody to go to that site, take pictures and bring it to us. And then we'll know how to handle this matter from there on. Honorable Alex Markin.
Look, I want to sincerely say that we have to let Ghanaians trust us as politicians. Decisions that we take and the kind of information we give out there. The government so far has failed to tell Ghanaians the specifics of that project. Fundamentally, the government erred in going to procure a loan without passing through parliamentary approval. If you read Article 181.3 of our Constitution, and with your permission, I'll just quickly
Please, sir.
That no loan shall be raised by the government on behalf of itself or any other public institution or authority otherwise than by or under the authority of an act of parliament. Now, there is an act establishing SADA. That act can never have overriding effect on our constitution. The Constitution of the Republic is the supreme law of the land. If government, through Ministry of Finance, issues a 3-year bond and get Bank of Ghana to float it out there, and UBA decides to lead a consortium of banks to raise funds. Now, the figures are here. These figures are not my figures. These are figures from SADA, okay? And look at it here. Coupon rate, 14% plus 2.75, meaning that 16.75%. Structuring fee, 1.25% on 200 million. Now, this is a 3-year facility. It's not a grant. So I'm saying that if government wants to invest in Guinea Fowl projects, government wants to invest in afforestation, fine. But bear in mind that you are using a short-term facility. And in 3 years, if you work out the interest rate, 200 million in 3 years, you are looking at, it's compounded. You are looking at close to about 299 million. Now, because government of Ghana has issued a guarantee, okay, Ministry of Finance issued a bond certificate through Bank of Ghana. When it crystallizes, government must pay. My concern is this. Look, government is telling us there's a huge deficit. Ghanaians are suffering. Prices of petroleum products have been increased.
Subsidies are getting lost.
Well, yes. And doomso continues. You get home in the night, you want to sleep under a fan, light off.
Problems in
you want to go and get water, wash down, tap is not flowing. Mosquitoes will bite you. The next morning, you want to get gas to cook, no gas. You know, things are hard for Ghanaians. And if government wants us to sympathize with them and say, look, we have nothing in the kitty. President Mahama, if you look at page 9 of his own State of the Nation address, he says certain things. He says, Mr. Speaker, the rate of growth of the wage bill has reached a point where they are squeezing out critical investment in the budgetary allocation of goods and services and capital expenditure. Unless we tackle this issue decisively, as a government, how do you tackle challenges decisively? By doing proper investment. If you tell me you've gone to the private market to raise funds for 3 years for such a critical project, and today the CEO of SADA will tell Ghanaians that, oh, even some of the trees that were planted have been consumed by bushfire. You see, let us be serious. Don't let us allow people to ridicule us, say that, oh, these are politicians, they are lying. And you did this project into October, November, just 2 months to elections, is when you got all these monies released. Now, another point, when the CEO of SADA appeared before us, already the Ministry of Finance had told us that, look, they disbursed 165 million of that money to SADA account. Now, the CEO provided us with the account number at UBA. Now, when he came, he also said, look, the only money we have is 127 million. God. So where's the rest? What's the difference? As we speak, we've not had a full disbursement of the 200 million. But if the man says that 127 million is what has been dispersed, and they've made some investment, 19 million in tractors. Now, who are the beneficiaries of those tractors? You see, you are using the terminology investment. So you have invested in tractors. 90 million of the money you raised is gone into tractors. Who people benefited? And how are they going to pay back? In 3 years. Number two, these trees that you planted, where did you plant them? Now you are telling us you did those so in partnership. When this issue came out, now we are seeing some documentaries on the TV. Look, my friends in the NDC, President Mahama, my appeal to you, you have promised Ghanaians transparent government. You have promised us good governance. Please, I am not saying this because I'm an MPP, but I'm saying this because I'm a Ghanaian. We are talking about huge deficit. Teachers are crying, health insurance. Recently, the missions hospitals had to, raise concerns before they were paid. These are challenges. Let's address them properly. We need to get to the bottom of these two major investments, Afforestation and Guinea Fowl project. I am not in any way against this investment, but I am saying that government must ensure full disclosure, because the timing of the project, October, November, did it without parliamentary approval, and they are trying to justify that the act enabled SADA to borrow. But when you are interpreting a law, you read them conjointly. Yeah. Okay, you do a total holistic reading and give it a holistic interpretation. If the law that established SADA says that SADA you can borrow, and the Constitution also says that before you borrow as a government, or before you borrow on behalf of an authority, or before that authority takes any such step, it needs prior approval of Parliament. And you violate that just 2 months before elections. What impression are you creating? Similar thing happened in Maslock. From 2009 to 2011, government only released 5 million to Maslock for onward disbursement to the informal sector. In 2012 alone, 45 million was released to Maslock for onward disbursement. Now, if you come to 2013 budget, government is only allocating 5 million. So we are asking, does the government have its priorities right at all?
In the right place, okay.
What are we doing?
Okay.
And these are the issues that I believe sincerely we need to probe into. There's a government that says probity and accountability. Let's have transparency. President Mahama should come clean. Ministers of state should address these issues. Let us know. If those monies are in an account, we need to know. If this joint venture, another sad aspect of it is that they are saying that with the Guinea Fowl project, government is saying, SADA is saying that, look, they are doing that in partnership with Azontaba, okay? And Azontaba is the majority shareholder. They are saying Azontaba brought 25 million. Now, if you've had so much money, you've been able to borrow, so much, and you had confidence in it, let's look at it. I'm not against a private initiative. I'm a businessman, I'm a lawyer, I do part-time teaching, now I'm into politics. I will be happy to see young men, other people doing well in business, government supporting them. But in so doing, we must make sure that such support is benefiting the people who are suffering. Today, let me conclude with respect. Today, the TUC has come out with a statement. It's saying that, look, government should not be too worried about macroeconomic stability. If you say that you have good statistics and the people are suffering, the people are still complaining of unemployment, hardships all over the place, then you are not doing it right. Today, we are told single-digit inflation, yet prime rate is 15%, yet government is borrowing. Do we still have excess liquidity in the economy that government is mopping up with this the Treasury Bill 22.9? Is there an incentive for people to invest in private business?
I have to cut you here because I have just a minute. But Honorable, under 30 seconds, wrap up. I mean, the issues have been put into context. Under 30 seconds.
Yes, I even want to disagree with the fact that we have macroeconomic stability in this country.
Well, so they claim.
Because, you know, I can challenge anybody at any level that we don't have macroeconomic stability. Because macroeconomic stability involves domestic stability, external stability. And domestic stability involves inflation as well as unemployment and growth.
Okay, I'll have to cut you off at this stage because my directors are on my case. The time is up. Yeah. But I can promise viewers that I think we should bring back this panel again. Yeah. And so we'll look into it next week whilst we'll get the panel back into the studios and do an in-depth discussion of the matters.
I want to engage my colleagues in the NDC. I want to engage my colleagues in the NDC on
these matters. You know,
this is how we address them properly.
The NPP is not against these things because it went to the north. No, we are just saying that there must be transparency and accountability. Exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Khalif Tizak. Thank you, Honorable Dr. Sagri Bangbani, and then Mr. Alex Afenyo Market. My name is Nana Kofi Opondama. It's been interesting having you here. We'll see you again next week.